If you'll please rise, do the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and good morning. Welcome to this Monday, March 21st Board of Commissioners meeting. First up is public comment. This would be for anyone that's not on the agenda. If we have anyone here that would like to go now, this is your time. Okay, seeing none. Okay, all right, I'll add it to it. We'll move on, and I made a couple amendments in terms of the order, but we have our prosecutor, Mr. Tony Summer, here, so I'll let him go first so he can get on with his morning.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Commissioners needed a little attention to some vacancies, a vacancy that I have that's gone unfilled that was approved by the council last year for a deputy prosecutor position. It was funded at $66,000 a year for a full-time deputy prosecutor. It's identified in my budget as position number 16. I have not been able to attract candidates at that salary level. The salary of surrounding counties for deputy prosecutors now is ranging $70,000 up to $80,000 a year, and so having trouble competition-wise at that salary level. I changed the posting to $69,000 a year. I'll explain why I did that. But that then did attract some applicants. So at $69,000 a year, I have drawn some applicants. So a couple of items. First is that I would like permission of the Board of Commissioners to proceed if I can get a successful applicant with filling of the vacancies in the face of the hiring freeze. But as you notice, I just said vacancies, plural. That's because I've become aware that I'm going to have a second vacancy. Another deputy prosecutor will be leaving, separating from my office at the end of March. So I'll be down 2 deputy prosecutors on my current manning table at that point. The salary for that incumbent is already above $69,000 a year. That's position 19. So that's why I changed the posting to the $69,000 a year, because I knew that I'd have that salary level at least to work with to fill a vacancy. Otherwise, what I was going to ask permission from the board to do with regard to the vacancy that presently was funded at an annual rate of $66,000 a year is to convert that, or allow me to fill that at an hourly rate that would be equivalent to a $69,000 a year, but the money's already appropriated and already in that line item. I will be able to fill that position temporarily at that hourly rate. I have an interested candidate in that as well. So that coming up on the 1st of April, it looks like I'll be able to fill both of my vacancies if I have approval of the board to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions?
You guys have any questions?
I don't have any. We appreciate you coming and asking for permission to hire, and recognizing the fact that we do have a hiring freeze on, and we greatly appreciate that. The only question I would ask Britt is, in the salary ordinance, is that second deputy prosecutor's position, is it listed at an hourly rate for $69,000, or is it for the $66,000? And if it is for $66,000, will we have to amend the salary ordinance in order to pay the second position at that rate?
I would have to look at the ordinance. A lot of times, though, we do have an hourly rate there.
Okay.
So if we have to amend it,
It's not a big deal.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah, we're totally in favor of it. I just want to make sure we took the right steps. So.
I appreciate that.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the only comment I have.
All right. Appreciate your attention this morning. Thank you.
Thanks, Tony.
Thank you. Okay. Next up, I'm going to move something to the front as well, just based on time, and that's going to be the looking at the new EMS director. So a month or so ago, Greg Miller informed us of his decision to retire, and we went down the journey of trying to find a replacement for the EMS director. And so we initially started out with 3 internal candidates that we interviewed, and were able to narrow it down to 2, and had a second round of interview. Both candidates did really well, and it was a tough decision for us, but we were able to eventually find one that we felt like would take the EMS in the new direction that we wanted to go, and kind of continue to build on what has built on over the last 4 or 5 years. So with that, the hiring committee would like to present to the commissioners Stephen Deckard as the recommended replacement as the new director starting on May 2nd. So I guess I'll open it up for a motion to move forward with Stephen.
I'll make a motion that we hire Stephen Deckard as the Clinton County EMS Director.
I'll second that position.
Okay, that motion carries 3-0. And so Stephen's here today with his wife Kayla, and so I will give him a couple moments if he'd like to have a few words and tell us a little bit about himself for everybody that doesn't know. Obviously, we do up here because we were able to interview you, but maybe just give us a little bit of your background so everyone else can understand as well.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Stephen. I've been serving Clinton County EMS since 2018, and I look forward to continuing to serve this community in a more dynamic role. So thanks again for the opportunity.
Thank you, Stephen. I will add a couple more things because he was graciously downplaying his skills. So he, in conversation with his colleagues, numerous colleagues have mentioned that he is one, if not the top paramedic in the state. I've heard that throughout conversations in the community, with the hospital, with people that he's interacted with as patients. His experience from the front lines, handling the training, and the vision for Clinton County EMS is what drove us to select him, and we feel like it's in great hands going forward to take us to that next level. So thank you, Stephen, for accepting this offer, and we look forward to your guidance in that department going forward.
Yep, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
On behalf of the board and myself, congratulations, and we look forward to your guidance and taking us to the next step. So,
Okay. Next up is Ashley Kelly with the medical savings for 2021.
Morning, Ashley.
Good morning.
I presented a couple numbers to council, and Mr. Brewer asked that I bring it to you as well. This is the medical savings from the rebilling of the inmates' medical bills over the last 3 years. So when we get a medical bill for inmates, we rebill it down to the federal reimbursement rate plus 4%. And so in 2019, that saved the county from paying out $207,465.06. In 2020, it was $168,539.93. And then last year, we saved $388,789.51. And the way that we are doing the program now, we have an off-site cap quarterly of $52.50. And the way that we're doing that is we restructure, we reorganize the bills so that the bills coming back that's beyond our off-site cap for the county to pay, we're trying to limit those to our DOC payments so that we can file for reimbursement from the state.
Okay.
So we're able to save that 0006 line
Awesome.
from the county.
Normally, that's something we would pay for through like Kelwell, or is it Kelwell? that we
No, that's our
contract with?
food vendor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Quality, it's
Oh,
okay.
yeah,
Quality Correctional Care.
Yes.
Generally speaking, these bills are coming to us to be paid in full.
Yeah.
We don't have to pay medical bills in full for inmates. So we send them back, federal Medicare reimbursement plus 4%. We rebill those down, and then that's the amount that we pay. So we have some bills that go from tens of thousands down to a couple $100s.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And then, of course, federal inmates are shipped off to the marshals to pay. We don't pay federal inmate bills. And then anything, again, we reorganize so that once we hit our off-site cap quarterly, anything beyond that, we try to restructure the bills so that the bills coming back to the county are DOC, our level 6 inmates, so that when we pay those bills, we can submit to the state for DOC reimbursement. So it kind of washes itself out the best that we can. There are a couple things that we still have to pay for, contract exclusions for like eye care, dental care, et cetera. But otherwise, prescriptions and whatnot, we try to make it so that the out-of-county cost is a DOC reimbursement.
So is this a collaboration between the staff at the jail and quality?
It's me and Quality Correctional Care, yeah.
All right, in terms of the submittals?
Yes.
So would, I guess if that didn't happen, would the bill be closer to 500 or 600,000? Because I know roughly the budget's around 200 for what we pay.
So that's the
quality.
contract.
Yeah.
We're talking about like the $10,000, the 0006 medical and dental line out of the 380 budget. For example, in 2018, I think county paid out over $60,000 because we had a cancer patient at the time. And she hadn't been sentenced yet, so those were county bills. The medical contract at the time didn't rebill because they weren't familiar with Indiana laws. That was what led us to Quality Correctional, because they operated solely in the state of Indiana when we hired them on. And they're familiar with the rebilling of correctional care.
So, sorry, not to sidetrack this conversation, but so what happens when somebody has cancer and they're incarcerated? Do you have to provide transport for treatment, or do they come to the facility and do chemotherapy, or?
So we just had that in the facility. It all depends where they're at in their sentencing.
Okay.
In 2018, there was a cancer patient. Once she was sentenced, she was sent direct to DOC. We just had an individual refusing treatment. He was not sentenced, and so his care becomes that of the counties. Otherwise, yeah. So.
Okay, interesting.
Can you explain to me what rebilling is? I'm not familiar with, I mean,
So when you go to the hospital, you'll get your multiple bills from your physician to your ER visit, whatever the case may
Okay.
be. When those bills come in, we send them through our rebilling process. Say it's $1,000. We send it back to the hospital and say Medicare reimbursement plus 4%, whatever the federal rate is at the time of service. They rebill it down with their medical codes and send it back to us at that reduced rate.
why wouldn't they do that to begin with? I mean,
It's a screening process. It's something we have the opportunity to do as county government.
okay.
Mr. Weaver, probably the idea is the medical companies or let's say IU Health or Arnett, wherever you're going, they will send that bill, and they don't take it immediately that they walk in orange jumpsuits and that. They really don't pay attention to that into the billing process. They bill just as if we were every normal day guy with insurance or without insurance.
Gotcha.
And that bill comes to the sheriff's office. And then that's when she goes through the process with Quality Correctional Care to rebill, and that's the extra steps that you have to take. And a lot of the facilities and a lot of the providers, eye doctors, things like that, they don't understand that state statute either. So we have specific places that we'll go, and we make sure that they have that information, that they know that, on an inmate, that it is Medicaid plus 4%. So that's where the rebilling process starts. It's kind of, if you don't ask for the discount, you're not going to get the discount. So that, and I don't know why on the medical side of that, why that is, but when we check them in, obviously it's through the sheriff's office, and the billing will come back to the sheriff's office. But they
Okay.
don't do it automatically. We have to reach out and make sure that they do that.
Could we not talk to them and say, hey, look, this is,
Well, it's not we deal with multiple facilities. It's not like
Understand.
it's just Frankfurt Hospital. So it's just as the bills come in, it's just a part of our process to put them through rebilling down to the Medicare rate plus 4%. And it's substantial savings to the county.
We've also had providers say, no, don't bring them back.
Really? Oh,
Yes.
because of that?
Because
Once
of
they
the
learn of
discount
that,
rate.
Once
yeah.
they learn that they're forced to
That's nice.
rebill,
Yeah.
they tell us, don't come back here again.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So it is what it is, but then we have to, drive somewhere else for a different provider or
My gosh.
service company. So.
So this is strictly just rebilling with the provider, not necessarily, you're not kicking at the Medicare or Medicaid or anything like that.
No,
It's
no,
just
okay,
not-
so that might be a
That's a
little
separate-
confusion. So the statute that we work off of is 11-12-5, 5.5 for community corrections, county jails, temporary work release, subject to lawful detention. And under that section, it says that we can rebill to a physician licensed, a hospital licensed, or another healthcare provider for the cost of healthcare service at the federal Medicare reimbursement rate for the healthcare service provided plus 4%. So it's just,
Covered.
it's an Indiana statute. That's why the former provider, they operated across the country. They weren't aware with our specific Indiana legislation on that, and so it just wasn't done. And so our new company has worked well with us to be able to do that and provide significant savings to the county.
We changed that early in 19.
Day
didn't we?
17 in 2019.
Yeah, yep, I remember that.
Yeah, they started with us January 18th because the former was in, they're in violation of their contract, because we didn't have a doctor in seeing the inmates.
Yep. I remember that.
Still, I mean, I think we kind of were left in limbo on money they owed back to the county. You know,
Right.
Mr. Little remembers, because of the violation of the contract that they had, and the rebilling that they didn't do. There was some question on, we paid out X amount of dollars where we shouldn't have. So, that's still kind of out there in the wind, and as far as closing that, I don't know how we can get that done.
Right,
We've tried, but they basically told us to
yeah, I remember that too.
fund days.
Yeah.
So, do you remember, was the expense in that line item 006 much higher with that former company?
It, as I recall, it was, because again, I don't recall what their offsite cap was, that wasn't our,
Yeah.
contract, but, the issue we were having was they were spending beyond the offsite cap, and they were just sending billing without any explanation as to why we were outside of our off cap. And, when it all came to terms with the violation in the contracts and whatnot, they pulled out pretty quick. There wasn't a lot of conversation with them.
That's true, that is true. I remember that.
Because what it sounds like to me is this relationship with the new one, Quality, is what has facilitated saving these changes, because
Yes.
they're Indiana-based versus national, and so they understand what's happening here kind of locally a little better than
Yeah.
their competitors.
Yeah, she's in over 70 facilities in the state, and she's just now launching out into, I think she said Kentucky.
Wow.
But she's from Indiana. She was actually a matron in Delaware County before she started this company.
Okay.
So they're
Awesome.
great. They're great to work with.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
I do not have it.
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next up is Rick Campbell with a highway update.
Morning, Rick.
Morning.
Happy Moscow.
We started spreading gravel today on the gravel roads. We still got hatching hole to do. We still have a lot of big holes out there. We're trying to get them. And we started putting in pipes. And I have a paper I need signed by Jordan for a mortgage release on the Travis Sheets properties, so we can move forward with that bridge, and there's no delays, because that's one of those we get 100% on if we don't have any hiccups.
Okay. So it's is it for right away?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay,
I
all right.
Yes. I sent papers to the attorney.
So is that saving us time and money both by
Yes,
doing this?
Yes.
Rick, I did have not one phone call. I had several phone calls, and I'm sure you're aware of this, but I wanted to pass it along and make sure I did so. Is it 1,000 East, just north of 400 South, in between
Yes.
400, 300, there's a spot there, and I'm getting
Yes.
I've got a lot of new friends.
There was a tile broke down in there,
Yeah,
and
okay.
that got fixed. Well, it got opened up last week. It's not fixed yet, but it
Yeah.
got opened up.
Okay.
And we got signs up for the road
Okay.
that it's not the best shape, but we'll get it fixed as
I
soon as
know.
thing dry out.
All right, I
But,
appreciate
yeah,
it.
we're gonna work on it.
That was one of those that we triple sealed.
Triple chip and seal, and
Yeah.
it just, that one
one
just
spot.
didn't work.
Yeah, yep. That's all I
You
have.
need a copy of it, Jerry. Can she get a copy, and we'll get it back to you at the end of the meeting? Thanks. All right, next up is Liz Ditzel with area plan update.
Good morning. I'm pretty short and sweet this morning. I don't have a whole lot, other than just to let you know that I did ask Kat if we'd had any contact or other interest on mowing, and we have not. She did say that the company that we've been with has been doing a good job. She hasn't had any issues, and things were working well end of last season. But she said she hasn't had any, she doesn't know of anybody else, and nobody else has contacted her. Actually listed a couple entities that she knew specifically were not interested, that had helped us in the past, and just found, mowing these properties is a different deal than getting hired by someone to come out and mow their manicured yard. You deal with different sets of situations and unknowns, when you're trying to give a quote or a price. And so I think for some companies, that's a challenge that just isn't what their specialty is. So, but I did ask, so I just wanted to bring that back to you. And Kat noted as I was walking out the door today, she goes like, I need a mower. It's going to start any day now. So.
So I did, sorry, not to
Go ahead.
interrupt
No,
you.
go
I did
ahead.
talk to Mr. Keller, who was our current contractor, and he said he doesn't think he could do it for any less than he did last year. So if somebody else wants it, it's all theirs. But if we can't find anybody else, he would be more than willing to continue at his current rate.
Okay.
So
Based on what market conditions are, I think staying flat on the current rate is probably a good deal for us.
I'll make the
relative
motion,
to-
we keep it there.
yeah, his name's Chris Keller,
Yep.
and he's done that for us for several years. And he's always very responsive, I think. We'll
Yeah,
ask him
Kat
to do
says he's easy to work with. They've got a system worked
something.
out.
I'll second the motion then.
Okay. Motion carries 3-0 to have Chris Keller continue the lawn care for the as-needed requested
Mowing.
county cleanup mowing. So.
And well, Josh, are you going to reach out to him to sign that contract, or do I need to have Kat follow up?
As far as the actual contractor, I don't know if is that something that we did in-house? So we need to bring it up at our next meeting. We'll just have him, I'll have him get a hold of you and have him come in and sign. Okay?
Yep.
All right.
Okay, perfect. I'll let that be taken care of. I don't have anything else unless you do.
I do
I
not.
don't?
No.
Nope. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, you know where I am if you need me. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, we've got you.
All right, there's nothing under old business, so we will move on to new business. First up is a waiver of conflict of interest for the BOT projects. So, as these guys know, at our initial kickoff meeting with Envoy in conversation, we found out that they use Taft Law as their representation. And the county also uses Taft Law in some different engagements. And so we have a letter from Taft basically stating that they do not believe there would be a conflict of interest by both of us continuing to utilize Taft. So essentially, Envoy uses a representative different than ours that's also out of a different office. And so we would be able to continue to utilize Taft in those. I think typically it's more on like wastewater, water, infrastructure type projects is where we've utilized Taft, correct? Okay.
That is correct.
And so,
Bond issuance. that
yeah,
kind of
bond
thing.
issuance, so, this is kind of just signing, making a motion to move forward with, allowing this conflict of interest waiver. So I'll entertain a motion for that. unless
I'll
we have
make that
questions.
motion.
I'll second the motion.
All right, motion carries 3-0, to waive conflict of interest with Taft. Next up is chiller repair quotes. So our chiller has had a hole pop up and quit working. So the challenge with that is we would not be able to have any cooled air in the courthouse going forward unless this is fixed. So obviously it's a pretty big deal. Many people would be upset with that. And so we received 2 quotes. QPH is a company that we have utilized in the past to do some repairs. Their quote came in at $13,989.43. and the other one is from a company called Shamball, and their quote was for $15,900. In working with Roush, the best we could, we made sure these quotes were apples to apples. The one thing I would like to note is with all type of repairs, until they get in there, they don't know 100% what the issue is. This is what they believe the issue is, so these quotes could go up if they find out.
Right.
In particular, like the compressor is one thing they're not sure if it'll have to be replaced. So if it has to be replaced, this will increase. But as of right now, this would get us up and working and at least at 2/3 capacity, hopefully at 100% capacity. So I will, unless there's more questions.
Roush, which one are we working with now? I mean, which,
QPH is Peter Briggs, and that is who we've been working almost all our repairs for. And they've done a great job.
Yeah, QPH is who we're working with now.
Okay.
The chiller is positioned to be upgraded before the renovation, because as we can see, we can't keep putting Band-Aids on it and expect it to work. But from the conversations with Envoy and Amoresco, there is up to a 32-week lead time for a brand new chiller. So we have to do something to try and make it through the summer in particular.
Window units?
Yeah. I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah, me too. Okay. I don't have a problem with that either. I'll make a motion, we go ahead with QPH. With the understanding that that quote doesn't reflect what they may find when they get
Yeah.
inside there. So,
Yep.
I will second that motion.
thanks, Roush.
Okay, motion carries 3-0 for QPH to do the chiller repair. Next up, we have a hotel feasibility study service agreement. Shan, would you like to kind of walk us through it a little bit? Shan Sheridan from the Chamber of Commerce has been working on this project, had approached myself and the Mayor Sheets.
Hey, thanks, Jordan. Appreciate the opportunity to share. We have been with a lot of development going on, a lot of opportunity of course, I think everybody could recognize and realize the need for some better lodging in our community, and we have been frustrated from the chamber perspective of over the years of sending folks to places and getting a lot of complaints. So we felt it was time, and we've engaged several companies. One of the things, though, that they're always asking for, have you had a feasibility study done? Do you know where you are on numbers? I mean, we know population, we know those kind of things, but, you know, as far as visitors, we kind of have to rely on what Purdue ball games and you know, Indianapolis 500 and what we normally see from the local hotels. So we've engaged a company. The good news is that this is going to come out of the Hotel Tax Commission fund, so it won't really cost any taxpayers dollars, but it's a $12,500 study. This will go both for the county and the city. The study will allow us to see basically the need from Frankfurt proper to all the way to 65 in the interchange, which will eventually be annexed anyway, but it will give us that whole corridor, allowing us to check traffic counts, you know, destination and event opportunities that they will look at, and then come back and make a full report both to the county and the city on that finding. So they divide it in two pieces, where the initial pay is half of the $12,500, and then if we don't qualify enough activity for a hotel, they will not charge you for the second. So it basically, you know, it's kind of a win-win for us in the sense that if it shows that we need a hotel, and the company we're working with is Distinction Group,
Yeah.
LLC. Answer any questions you might have.
I do have some questions. Why, if we aren't spending any money on this, why are we signing it?
Well, it's basically, a municipality is asked to be, because it really is going to impact, the municipalities, whether it be the county or the city. So they are asked to be a part of the contract. So we were just trying to make sure that, if we had the opportunity to not have any funding come out of county or city, which it worked out well to have some funds in the innkeeper's tax account. So we were able to do it out of that. But it needs to be the county. I mean, at the end of the day, the tax commission could sign it, but it really, the report then ends up there. We felt like it would be better for both the county and the city to have this robust report.
So it is coming out of our tax money then,
It's coming from the innkeeper's tax.
which we have a line item in our overall budget.
Yeah, but that's not tax monies that come out of here. It comes out of
It's
Yeah.
from the
visitors.
Yeah,
hotel.
from the hotels pay the,
visitors.
yeah.
Does it come out of the left pocket or the right pocket? It's all coming from the same
Well,
place.
that money comes out of people that don't even live here. I mean, that's not,
Or they could live here.
no, these are people that are staying in the hotel for a night.
So only
They
people
pay-
from out of the state of Indiana stay in hotels in Indiana?
Well, no, but like at the La Quinta, there's people that stay there from all over
Okay.
the state. They come in and work.
I'm not
like-
gonna split hairs about it. I just think
Well-
we've done plenty as a county already in regards to development and with little or no result outside of NHK. And so I'm a little sour when it comes to this, when we already contribute healthily out of landfill tipping fees for Chamber of Commerce, Partners in Progress. I know Partners in Progress carries a healthy financial balance. I don't understand why we're continually being asked for more and more with little to no result.
Well, again, we're not asking for more. This is coming out of it's a complete different line item.
Shan, if it's in a line item in Clinton County's budget, that is Clinton County's funds. Okay?
I'm just telling you
Just
this.
like wheel tax, people drive through here and pay at the pump, and that's wheel tax, but it comes into our coffers. So this is money coming out of our budget.
I personally think it's okay to come from there because it would essentially benefit that. They would, if we get a new hotel, if I understand correctly, then it would generate more revenue for that particular.
Yeah, just like if I go to Indianapolis, they charge me 4% or 5%.
Yeah.
I
I pay
understand
that.
how the
and
tax system works.
And then that money comes out of, I mean,
I'm just
for
telling
me.
you, I'll tell you what, if we do this, we get a hotel, I'll stand out here on the square and tell everybody I was wrong.
Well, prepare, because we'll be
Yeah,
getting a
well,
hotel.
I've been hearing that, Shan, for a long time.
Well, we just got the infrastructure in, Josh. I mean, the infrastructure just got put in, so.
Yeah,
I mean,
we funded that.
I-
all of it.
Absolutely, and,
Yeah.
and that's between the city and the county as
No,
far
it's
as.
been between the county and the county. We funded it.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt, no doubt.
You got any questions?
No questions, but I'm okay with it. I think that it's a good move to attract.
Well, we just have to have, most of the hotel people want some type of feasibility study, so I'm asking, and at the end of the day, if you want to go back to the commission, that's fine, but it's whatever you guys want to do. So.
I make the motion that we go forward with it.
Okay. One.
No.
Okay. Motion carries 2-1.
Okay?
Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
I think I'll sign this, but it's an e-signature, I believe, so. Okay. Next up is department heads. Do we have any department heads who would like to go? Mr. Kripe. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, gentlemen, ladies. I just want to give you a quick update on the new morgue facility. I went to the council because we come in under budget for the new morgue, and there was $6,000 left there. And I asked to reappropriate that to complete the bathroom, and they agreed upon that. So just want to let you know we're going to get a bathroom in there. And also, the security system has been put in place. That just got completed last week. And the bathroom construction will start by the end of the week. So,
And I think you and I talked a little bit after the council meeting. The work to do the bathroom will be within that $6,000, correct?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So,
That's a no-brainer.
any question? All right,
Great.
perfect.
Thanks, Ed.
Thanks, Ed,
Thanks.
appreciate it. Thanks for letting us know. Any other department heads? I forgot about the wind. Sheriff?
Jay Sheriff.
Is it Marty?
turnover at the facility with corrections officers, we have 6 openings. So, I mean, they're budgeted, it's nothing new, but we just basically giving you a heads up, we need to fill those positions.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
And that's the turnover that we have at the facility. I mean, it's pretty normal. It's been a little lower than it has in the past, which is nice. Also, I talked to President Brewer in regards to the motorcycles for the sheriff's office. We talked to Hunter's Moon Harley Davidson over in Lafayette. We're going to work out a deal with them. We are not trading anything in due to the fact that I think they were offering less than what they're really worth. But the reason for the update or upgrade to the motorcycles is safety for the most part and reliability. We also have received several things through the grant and the state of Indiana for equipment to write the tickets and do that with the laptops. We haven't had to pay anything out like that, and the radars and the other equipment. So it's really going to be a good cost-effective way to keep those motorcycles and looking at 10, 15 years of service. So the older motorcycles are going to be used for training and possibly sold, and that's we'll end up with a surplus of vehicles that I think we'll be able to be prepared to have our auction, an auction for the county, rather than trading them in, because the cost of trading things in haven't been very good.
Okay.
So do you have the money for the motorcycles in your
Commissary.
budget? Is that what?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's through commissary, so it would be out of any of the taxable monies, things like that. So it's just out of the commissary fund will be used for that to purchase vehicles.
I apologize if we've already talked about this, but I missed a couple of meetings. But the second round of Tahoes
Should be here in June.
Okay.
Let's hope early June.
Okay.
Because right now we also had a conversation with the insurance company, if you guys didn't get the email. The last vehicle that was struck by a deer, the deputy says he did not hit the deer hit him. So with that, we're going to get, I think, a check around $13,000 if we keep the vehicle. But I don't see any need in keeping it because it's a
Right.
salvage vehicle. So
Yeah.
the check will be right around $13,000, a little bit more.
Okay.
And we'll have to figure out what we can do with that. And the sad thing is, there are no used vehicles out there to really purchase as far as law enforcement. So we could compensate some money out of commissary to help purchase a vehicle to replace that vehicle.
Was it not a Tahoe? It was a.
No,
I
it
take
was
an older vehicle.
It was a 2016 or 15 Ford Explorer.
I know the last time that we had that happen, when thank goodness he was okay. The young gentleman had a wreck up on 26.
Yeah, that was
We just went
Josh
ahead-
Blackwell.
Yeah, we went ahead and took the insurance money and just added and got another Tahoe, didn't we? Yeah.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
So we could do something, but, and I think we're probably a couple weeks away. We'll probably wait till the next meeting. We'll have more conversation. Maybe we can come up with a plan. I've talked to Tony Del Real about, what he has on the lot just for, some type of administrative vehicle that doesn't necessarily go out and do patrol, maybe for the, paper servers, the, civil servant people. So we'll figure something out.
Okay.
When you and I talked about the motorcycles, I'd asked you about, on the new Tahoes, just with everything else going on, were we expecting to see a price increase in those?
You know what? They still haven't given me
Okay.
a base price on those, but the Kelly Chevrolet said it's going to be an absolute minimal. They didn't think it was going to go up since the request was put in 2021, fall of 21. So I think they're holding it a little bit. I really couldn't tell you. They haven't provided me anything back.
Okay.
And Chevrolet hasn't, they're on the line being built or will be built in the next 2 months. So hopefully we'll get a bottom line price on that, and that way we can kind of figure that budget. But I don't think it's going to be drastic. It's not like an electric vehicle. They can go up 20%.
Yeah.
I could see a 1 to 3% increase on the vehicle's cost.
Yeah, because, that kind of helps us decide.
Oh, absolutely.
How many that we can do with the
Yep.
additional
Yes,
one
sir.
that got taken out of
Absolutely.
service.
Yeah.
To be able to just get another one.
Yeah, so, that's, hopefully they can provide that at some point.
And if they could add another one, and I think we can make that work. So with that, just giving you a heads up, Brett, you'll get a check from, it's $13,000 and some change, but I'll make sure I get that email chain and get you guys sent that email from the insurance company. I think they sent it on Thursday or Friday last week.
Okay.
I always
Giving us a-
appreciate the heads up.
So we're not trying to find out where it goes.
Yep.
awesome.
Any other?
I don't have it.
Rich, how are you securing, or what vehicle are you using to pick up your 6 recruits or whatever they are? How do you find your correction officers?
Oh, we actually we have a fantastic. We used to do newspaper things like that. We still do to a certain extent, but the biggest thing is doing social media, hitting the websites across the state for ESGR, which is it's a military service group that helps military service. We also talk to they're not USO, but InVets, which is Indiana Veterans, and we talk to them. We get that information out. We send the information to the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, and it's all digital. They share, and then I think right now we're probably at about 12 to 14 applicants on the merit deputy side on that process, which is good. Our goal is about 25 people to apply for those 2 positions. But on the corrections officers, and there's a lot of it's word of mouth. Believe it or not, I've had surrounding counties come to me. There are people in this community work in Tippecanoe County or they work in Howard County, and with the gas prices at approaching $5, well over $4 for unleaded, that makes a big difference. And the pay becomes something that now they're concerned about. So I've had 2 people that work in connecting counties ask about positions here at the sheriff's office, especially in corrections. So with that, it kind of helps us get back those home people to work here in this community, and they actually really receive kind of a pay raise regardless because they're not driving 27 miles one way to go to their facility. So that helps us in a certain extent, but most of it is word of mouth, and a lot of it is so it's almost all social media. We do an open night of interviews from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Ashley, this Thursday?
We were going to put it out for this Thursday.
And we'll do open interviews, and we'll get double to triple the amount of people coming in those hours on just kind of a walk-in interview. And then we do the backgrounds and that, and once they pass everything. But we get more people that way than we have the traditional ways in the past.
Interesting.
So,
What causes the high turnover of those positions, do you think?
well, some of it, we hired a few people, and then sometimes it just comes down to the environment. Yes,
The perception of what it is and the
perception of
reality
what it is and what it actually is. And, and then some of the turnover is because these are young people, and it looks very good on their resume when they go to other law enforcement agencies. We've had a couple that have hired to other law enforcement agencies, and then we've also had them, it looks great when the person puts in for a job at Subaru Isuzu, NHK, places like that, pay a little bit more and they can make more money, and they go. So, the adage is sometimes we're a building block for them, and sometimes they become the building block for us.
Yeah.
We've had some young people that have been there for now my entire tenure, and they're just now hitting 21 years old. So they're getting to the point where I want to be in law enforcement. So we have a couple that are applying with with law enforcement agencies to work out on the highway. So those are the things that are going to happen. And then on the flip side of that, we've also hired people that are looking for that gap time between retirement at their job and insurance at 65 years old. So they come work for us with great benefits and insurance, and so that we draw in a lot of people that are 45 plus.
Okay. Yep.
So the thing, it's different for them in the environment, and sometimes it's just being inside all the time that some folks don't like. But for the most part, most of it's career changes, moving to a better job, higher paying jobs.
Okay. Anything else?
I don't. Thank you,
Okay.
Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other department heads? Okay, seeing none, I amended to get Marty from Republic Landfills here, so he had something he wanted to bring up, so thank you for coming. Sorry that I forgot you there earlier, Marty.
I'm actually coming uninvited this time. I just wanted to, since the last meeting I think got moved around or canceled,
Yes.
I wanted to just stop by and give a follow-up on a
Okay.
couple items. First of all, our new facility, I'll pass this out to everybody. We got an update on the facility, still scheduled to be open in June, completed in June. It's been an ongoing process. been going on for about 9 months total, so that's all. This photo kind of gives you a visual of what it's looking like and where we're at. We also have our free day that's coming up. This flyer's in here. It's at the end of April on Saturday, the 12th, or the 30th, I'm sorry. So we'll get that advertised to everybody as well, and we'll let all the haulers know. We were contacted about a month ago about the untarped load, so we have been talking to our customers about that. Both, we got our permanent customers we have direct contacts with, but we also have customers that just randomly use us. So those are a little bit more difficult, but we have to talk to them as they come into the facility. And if they're not tarping their loads properly, we're explaining it to them what they have to do before they come back. Also, we had crews out last week picking up alongside the roads. I got some photos here of showing you some of that progress. Our permit requires us to go about a mile down the road, but we're going 2.5 miles all the way down to Hoops.
Okay.
We're not done by no means, but they did get out there last week. And again, you'll see the photos of some of the accomplishments they got. So, and we actually had some phone calls last week from people saying thank you for getting guys out there. So it was recognized.
The sheriff's office and myself received calls, and it's greatly appreciated.
Yes, I mean, we just started, usually after the winter is the worst time, the roads look the worst because of the snow and the rain, and it's hard to get out there in the winter. So, last week it was dried up, a nice week. We got the crews out there. We actually use our own crews, but we've hired a company out of Lebanon called Labor Kings. They do a really good job. So they're on the schedule to come back again this week, and we're just going to keep going all the way down to Hoops, get on the other side of the road, and head all the way back. So you'll see in the photos it looks really good. But again, we still got some more work we got to get done, and we're just going to keep scheduling until we get it all cleaned up.
How often will that happen throughout the year?
Well, once we get it cleaned up, it's really a lot easier to maintain. So we're out there all the time during ourselves with our own crews. We're out there weekly picking up stuff. But with them, we'll probably have to get them out there at least 3 to 4 times a year.
Okay.
Is when we hire them to get the resources to come in if it gets real bad. But usually at the first one, it's just like the spring cleanup with the residents. It's usually a lot heavier because people's collected stuff through the winter and they want to get rid of it. And then in the fall, it's a lot less. But if you don't mind, I could pass these out to each one, everybody.
Anybody have
Anybody got any
questions?
I do
questions?
not.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Marty. Appreciate you coming. Okay, next up is commissioner reports. Do we have anything for the commissioners to report?
Just for your information, last week I had a couple complaints about the county parking lot over here and then the walkway between the two. And I spoke with the new owners of the nickel plate establishment and pointed it out to them, and they were in agreements, and they were going to, draft a letter to the tenants addressing the fact that their dogs are sometimes need to be cleaned up afterwards. And they were going to jump right on it and also then clean the walkway between the two. So
Okay.
I haven't been there to see if that's been done yet or not, but they said that they would, take care of it. So.
Good. Good. Josh, have anything?
I don't have anything, no.
I have a couple things. One, we are working through, from last meeting, upgrading to the FirstNet network. Gary had sent out an email to all the department heads to kind of identify devices that we are utilizing and some others that maybe are not being utilized. So this week, hopefully we can hear back from everybody and get that scheduled to get that upgrade going forward. The other thing I would like to report on is, and Josh and I've kind of been working on this, it started back in I believe the summer, working through the SWIFT grant with the state for aquifer study. And we had been approached with the city and Frankfurt Utilities on doing an aquifer study. We applied for the grant, and then they told us we didn't receive the grant. And we thought it was kind of dead. Well, it has been resurrected, and it looks like it will move forward doing the aquifer study with also some expansion in terms of well drilling. And the commitment from the county is $250,000. Commitment from the city's $250,000, and this project will be well into the $5 million range. So we're essentially leveraging our money 20 to 1 for this aquifer study, as well as some potential well drillings for future water development. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. I don't know if you have anything.
No,
you'd
I
like
think
to
it's
add.
important also to note that financial commitment has not changed from the first round of the
Correct.
grant application. So we were fortunate we weren't going to get that level of commitment from the IEDC and the IFA. So now what's going to happen is we will leverage that $250,000 into a $5 million product. So
Yeah, the original was like maybe $750,000 to
Right.
$1 million project, and now it has continued to grow just based on the environment changing in terms of what potentially could be coming to our area and the surrounding region. So those were the two things that I had. So if there's nothing else, we'll move on to claims. We have claims dated March 11th, 2022 in the amount of $11,850. Claims dated March 18th, 2022 in the amount of $10,084.06. Claims dated March 21st, 2022 in the amount of $703,906.97. And court claims dated March 21st in the amount of $41,392.75.
I'll make a motion to approve claims.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0 to approve claims. Next up is payroll, and we have payroll dated February 25th in the amount of $443,223.36.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion carries 3-0. And lastly, we have minutes from our regular meeting on March 7th, 2022.
Motion to approve minutes.
And second.
Joshua, Bert, so you weren't here on that one. The regular, you were on vacation,
Oh, it's-
remember?
yeah,
So,
yeah, that's fine. Doug still,
He could vote for it if he wants
Okay.
to.
yeah, that's
all right.
fine.
Okay.
Motion carries 3-0.
I've read it.
Okay. Seeing no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.